Finally, I'm alive. Yeah, the past few minutes, it's been spinning and spinning and spinning. So weird. Okay, but I'm live. Yay. Now let's check this out. It looks to me, can you see my workspace area? Dusty. It's dusty. And it's blurry. Is that right? Dusty, and there it goes. Just took a moment to focus. I think that's pretty good for my work. Yeah, you can see over here, right to my edge. Yeah, almost the edge. Okay. So yes, I don't know what happened. It's just so the timer thing was going. I had to close the page, open it up again. Yeah. So have I ever started broadcasting on time? That's a good question. I wonder if anyone can answer. Have I ever broadcast on time? So what you're looking at is not the page I'm going to be penciling. It's the page I just penciled, and I'm about to start inking, but I'm not going to ink that today, even though I could, because I got my little pen handy. Oh, and you know what? Should never just use your pen right off the bat. Oh my gosh. My pen has been a little funky recently. These things, whoa, it's a thick line. These things tend to get, I don't know, funky. Best word for it. So I'm losing the ability to do nice thin lines with consistency. Look at that. It's actually so thick. I used to have another one. I still have the other one. Ta-da! It started getting dirty. I was using some odds inks with it. It was getting dirty. And I tried cleaning it. And I followed some YouTube tutorials. Use warm soapy water, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It never worked the same again after that. This one guy even said, like, to keep the point nice, you should use a little bit of hair pomade. And so I thought, okay, I got some hair pomade. Let me try using that. And it was great for like a minute. It was together for a minute, and then all of a sudden, like, bloop, and then bloop, and then it just never stayed together again. So I bought a new one. Ooh, what am I drawing here? Look at my script. That was John. So this one is starting to act a little funky. Technically, I haven't been using them that long on each. Their lifespan hasn't been that long, and I think they could be longer. People who use it all the time, and since, as some of you might know, I am doing this full time now, so I should be able to give my equipment here some more use on a daily basis, keep it working a little better. But it's kind of a mystery. I'm not quite sure what's going on with those guys. I don't know why I'm having trouble with hair. Look at this. Sometimes you just have to get started and then just kind of work out and come back and fix it up a little bit. So in the current story, that's Raising Cain, that is. John just got himself beat up. He's got some bruising. This eye here is probably not very open. He's looking up at the guy he's talking to. And so sorry, now that I'm drawing, I seem to have stopped talking. Concentrating on the lines. Yeah, that's exciting video to watch, isn't it? So Yeah, so the pens. So for this new issue I'm having with my pen, what I might try to do, not following YouTube videos, because apparently not everybody seems to have the right answer, even though they all think they have the right answer. What I might end up doing is I might get a sponge and moisten the sponge and then run the bristles over the sponge so that I can pull out any dirt or debris and see if that does the trick. I hope it does. That's my latest plan anyway. Okay, John. Yeah, he's just meeting with the person. Well, he was summoned. Let's put it that way. He was summoned. Didn't want to go, and the people made him go. And now he's saying something kind of snarky here. So I'm sketching in my lines. I did the blue. I don't know if you can see it on the camera very well, but yeah, I sketched in the basic blue lines to show where everybody's going to be. Everybody's going to be positioned. And as a lot of you know, Anton, my colorist, lives in Ukraine. And currently the war is not in his part of the Ukraine. So he hasn't been forced to fight yet. But as the Russians seem to be lacking in success in some parts of the Ukraine, they're moving to other parts. So his area could be engulfed pretty soon. I hope not. I'm not just saying that selfishly because, I like my colorist. But he's a good guy, and I don't want to see him get hurt or any of his family and friends. I'm going to leave the background simple for the moment. I like to give Anton plenty of canvas to play around. He's a good artist. Okay, so that didn't turn out too badly. Start off a little rough there with the hair. Still a little rough with the hair, but it's better. Okay. I was doing a lot of editing today, so I hadn't actually done too much in the realm of drawing. I'm on page. Let's get something familiar. On the wrong page. 15. Page 15. Yep. I don't know if you can see it on the screen here. Yeah, I'm still working on issue 7. And oh, waitress. Oh, of course, silly me. And for page 15, it'll be another 24-page issue. Some of my first ones, for those of you who aren't as familiar, some of my first ones were not 24 pages. I was doing them mostly online, so I just kind of stuck to 20 pages. I published them as 20 pages in Indie Planet. So you can go to indieplanet.com, purchase these comics. I'm about to come up with a graphic novel version of the first 4 issues, and I will probably add back in those missing pages. Not actually missing, it's just I didn't script them for 24, but 24 is pretty standard, like print. Let's see. He's actually not saying anything here. Oh, I totally forgot. He has actually got that kind of, that's like pencil in lightly here. He actually had a bloody nose. Okay, I've got 2 viewers. Say hi. Got any questions? Anything I can talk about in particular? I do have some news, some pretty big news, which is not good news. I'll talk about that. A major corporation has told me to stop using the name Raising Cain. It's absolutely ridiculous, the request, because my Raising Cain and their corporate identity actually have nothing to do with one another. But they're being bullies. And I'm not going to say who it is right off the top of my head, but I will probably start posting about it on social media soon. Speaking of social media, whoops, I forgot his eye is closed. Oop, there we go. Speaking of social media, I got on Twitter today. Congratulations to me, right? Now I can join the rest of the free world in complaining about politics. No, but I'm going to put my comic updates on there. I linked it with my Instagram. So you'll be able to see them together if you happen to have both my Instagram and my Twitter. My Twitter is D.Harden art. So let me say that again. D.Harden _art at what am I saying? Twitter. Oh my gosh, Twitter is it's the at symbol D.Harden _art. Oh my gosh. I'm not used to Twitter, obviously. Never used it before. Let's see, John. Okay. So yes, I know my conversation's been a little bit all over the place. So yes, I will start talking about the this corporate entity soon. I actually think I have an email in my inbox from the lawyer I was consulting with. I cannot afford a lawyer. I splurged on the initial response, which I'd hoped would satisfy this company. Not only did this company not respond to my lawyer's letter to them, they just went ahead and filed an injunction against me. And so I have to answer or address it by the 21st of April, or I give up the right of the name Raising Cain. But if I have legal counsel help me with it, we're talking about $10,000 to $50,000 worth of legal assistance. It primarily depends on how far this corporation goes. Now, to give you a little bit more information, the corporation is a fast food restaurant. And that will probably tell a lot of you who it is. But what does Raising Cain, the comic, have to do with fast food? The answer is nothing. In fact, whenever I talk about food at all, It's usually coffee. Just what you see on these panels here. They're drinking coffee. Yeah, so it's just a crazy situation. So yeah, they ignored my lawyer's letter, which tells my lawyer that they're just being bullies. Because if they had any professional courtesy, they would have addressed the letter that my lawyer sent. And we would have gone from there. I don't have her mouth open enough. She's actually a bit surprised. Give her the eyelashes. And the sleeves. This nice lady here is giving John some coffee and a pack of ice. Do they have Ziploc bags 140 years from now? I'm going to assume they have something like it. Here's something for you. Anybody watching from art, have art school? Did you take art school when you were younger or in it now? Did they ever teach you how to draw ice? Water's tricky too. So here I have a little bag full of ice, and I have no idea how to. Just, I don't know, crisscrosses. This may be something like, because it's going to be chunks, it's not going to be ice cubes, chunks of ice. It's maybe something where I don't ink that part and just let Anton have had it with one of his brushes, because he's probably got a brush that'll look liquidy. They got a brush for just about everything nowadays. Yes, this lady's uniform. No, she needs a name tag. Lady's uniform definitely looks like a Alice's restaurant kind of deal. Okay. Okay. I am doing the anatomy out of order to kind of get her arms in position. There we go. That kind of works. Have you ever gone to a coffee shop and they just hand you the coffee with their bare hands and you pick it up and you're scalded? Do those people have like no nerves in their hands anymore because they burnt them all off? Has that ever happened to you? As I draw this, I think of it because it's happened to me. And I have to ask for one of those little cardboard, like, cozies. I don't think they're called cozies, but I'm actually not sure what they call them. And 140 years from now, do you think they're still using the same kind of tops? I don't know, they're pretty functional. sure what that is. Flaw in the paper? Yeah, look at that. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. It's this little line right there. It's actually in the paper. When I scan it, I'm going to have to be sure to take it out. Wow, her thumb is big. I just accidentally made it bigger. Oh, and comparatively speaking, these fingers are way bigger than those fingers. Actually, the thumb was not too far off. So maybe I should rethink these fingers here for a second. She got the Seinfeld man hands? I don't know. That's a little better, kind of. Oh no, where did my triangle go? Way over there. All right, I'm just going to do a quick little, not technically accurate wall here. This is actually the border from the inside to the outside of the restaurant. Because it's actually kind of light inside. And I'll do, it's kind of dark outside. Again, something I've been letting Anton sort of take care of because he's got these marvelous brushes for that sort of thing. When I ink that, I should probably use the straight edge. Except when you ink using the straight edge, then you sort of lose your spontaneity with the stroke, but I don't want them to be curved either. So. All right. Yeah, so much to talk about today. So as I mentioned before, when I first got it, oh, the part of his hair, yeah, it's got to go this way. I don't know if you can see the blue lines, but I had it the other way for some reason. Yeah, I don't know if I had YouTube open too long, because I've had it open like half the day. But yeah, when I tried starting this video, it didn't like it at all. I had to close the window and start again. So what's going on out there? Let's hear from you guys. Got 2 viewers at the moment, and hopefully some more later. How is your Thursday treating you? All right, I know now I'm getting like all jittery with my paper, moving it all around. So John's been kind of sitting in this thought. He's met this guy. After they beat him up, they deposited him in the chair, and the guy started talking to him. But he's been sort of like, as you can see here, sort of, sulking a bit, as I'm sure we all would if we had just had our butts handed to us. Now I gave him a nice little cheek line over here, but guess what? Not so much anymore. Okay, he's gonna have a slight smile. He's just being polite to the server. In the script, she just asks him, "Do you need to see a doctor?" And so he's saying, "No, I'm okay." Tough guys, adventure stories. They're always tough, aren't they? Yeah, in the fight, he lost his vest, he lost his gun. So he's just wearing a t-shirt now. He's accepted the bag of ice. The Ziploc bag. Now let's hope. Now that I've invoked Ziploc, let's hope they don't try to sue me too. It's kind of like free advertising, people. I'm sure this fast food place doesn't see this as free advertising. Did I just do that right? Yes. I had to make sure I had the fingers kind of going the right direction. Okay. Once again, probably leave this for until. Okay. Okay. Next panel. Oops, sorry. Sorry, gang. I just had my sheet too low. Is that a good spot? Is that a better spot? you all will have to tell me. What's he supposed to be saying here? Oh, okay. Yep, he is saying something. So there's a part of me that probably wonders if this isn't just the universe's way of saying, hey, you know what? I've been doing this for 2 years. Raising Cain, that is. Maybe it's time for a new story. Because the story itself, I haven't actually gotten very far in the story. Introducing you readers to the universe. But it's sort of disheartening when you get something like a big greedy company coming along saying, like, you can't use that name. Raising Cain. Raising Cain is an idiom that's been in use. I looked it up. It's been in circulation, been in use since 1840. It was first coined in 1840 in a Philadelphia paper, of all things, here in the States. And it means to, well, primarily to invoke Cain. He's the brother that died. He was murdered by Abel in the Bible. But it has the sort of the meaning of invoking Cain, causing trouble, causing mayhem, which goes really well with the comic because in order for John to seek out his memory, he's actually got to stir things up. And we're just getting to the stirring up stages of the comic. Oh, gotta be careful too. Sometimes I will move my pencil around and I'll get a fresh edge. And all of a sudden my lines will be a lot sharper than they were just a moment ago. See, I was doing pretty fat lines right here. I wasn't paying too close attention. Great when you're shading. Not always great when you're trying to do detail work. So rotate the pencil. These mechanical pencils have a thin enough lead that you don't need to sharpen, obviously. Oh, you know what? I drew that at a slight angle because your camera's over here and I'm over here. So that cup is crooked. Looks like it's leaning, see? That's the beauty part about mechanical pencils. If I were to do this like a true art school style, That's much better looking. I would pull out the multiple pencils of varying densities. And work my way up from the very lightest to the darkest. Sorry. For some reason, I was concentrating on his eyebrow. There we go. I haven't drawn his profile yet. So I wasn't quite sure what kind of chin to give him. Don't want to be too fat a chin. Okay, I am not liking his head and neck. Actually, I'm going to make his head jet back further. And let's modify that. Modify that loose neck. Yeah, actually, that's much better. Fabric is something else that's kind of funny in art. In art school, as I remember art school, or art class in college, they would put some fabric up there for you and they'd say, okay, draw the fabric. And you would draw it. It would be a piece of linen or be a piece of canvas or something like that. But sometimes when you're doing comics, when I'm doing comics, I'll be looking at something like this, like this jacket here he's got on. Thick material is going to have bigger wrinkles, right? Know what I mean? And then thinner material is going to have thinner wrinkles. But sometimes kind of knowing which one is which at the time you need it can be a little tricky. Because not all jackets are created equal. Not all shirts or blouses are created equal. Just look at TV news people. Look at their jackets. You can see some of them are really nice, shiny material. You can tell it's a tight weave. And some other ones, they're just not quite as nice. And they'll actually bunch up more. The nicer ones don't bunch up as much. So it seems to me anyway. If anybody has any input on that, feel free to put it in chat. John really looks like a bum, doesn't he? Okay. I'm thinking artistically. These two guys have a lot of differences. Should I put that wall between them? Probably closer to him because of the way the seats are arranged. But yet still between them. Or technically sitting outside behind him. So from a technical standpoint, yeah, it should be behind him. From a storytelling standpoint, maybe it should be between them. I'm going to go with the storytelling standpoint. There's a symbolic wall between them. Where once again, one side is going to be light, and the other side is going to be dark. It's like a mall, so there's different doors and such. Come on now. And sometimes when I do signs and such, I will go into Illustrator later, like after I finish inking, but before I send it off to Anton, and then I will put a name on the sign. Now I'm using crazy perspective here because I'm not actually using a vanishing line like I should. I guess you could call it perceived perspective. Sort of a cheat method, I guess you could say. Because honestly, those two lines do not match up. So I should probably do it the proper way, but I'll leave that there for now and fix that in a little bit. But going back to the darker outside. Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely going to fix that. Because actually that whole perspective scene doesn't even make any sense. So I'll come back to that in a minute. Poor planning. I should have planned that a little better, but that's okay. I'm only in the penciling stage. I can erase it. Where am I? There. It's funny. When I look at the screen to my left, does that look like I'm pointing to my left? It really is my left. For you, it looks like the left. For me, it looks like the right. For some unknown reason, when I'm looking at my screen on YouTube, they reverse it. Which I think is why, if you watch YouTube, so many people have the videos reversed, because I think they try to fix that because they think it's broadcasting wrong. But I'm pointing like this, and I'm actually looking at the live broadcast. Oh, it's like a minute behind. Oh my gosh, really? It's like a minute behind me. Yeah, but I'm pointing left. So funny. Okay. This guy, he is named Felix Smith. He's actually not a bad guy, but he's not exactly the guy that John wants to be associating with. So it'll be interesting to see how I can flesh out the characters later. How John deals with Mr. Smith. Because Mr. Smith has his own agenda. It's not John's agenda. Like I said, they're not mutually exclusive, but it might not be what John wants to deal with at any given time in the near future. Well, his near future, I should say. The reader's near future, yes, of course. Sorry there. Just kind of going over the math in my head, the artificial math, like where is the cheekbone? How's it compare to the nose? Do I need to twist my pencil for a wider line or a thinner line? Which I probably do, actually. That ear looks terrible. Suits in the future. I think I've talked about this before. Some similarities, though some things don't change over time. We've had pretty much the same looking suits for the last 100 years. There are some modifications, based on style, whether they're going to have like a slimmer cut or a wider cut, or shoulder pads, not shoulder pads, things like that. But primarily, suits are almost exactly the same now as they were 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, today's St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone who celebrates. Of course, doesn't everybody? Isn't everybody a little bit Irish today? Even if you aren't really Irish. I was going to get some corned beef and cabbage for my mom. She loves that. But we weren't going to eat out. And the place that's near us, the cutlery that's near us, wasn't taking orders. You actually had to go in. And you could take the order out, but it just didn't make a lot of sense because their lines are long. They're pretty popular. Okay. My blue lines here, I'm kind of going over. Here's the coffee cup. Talking about suit designs, probably won't change a whole lot over the future. I think you have seen in some of my other issues, the collar, the actual suit collar will change. I make them sort of round, but he's officially wearing a jacket, so he still has that, like a trench coat type of jacket. So he still has that. Whoops, what am I doing? Talking and drawing at the same time sometimes can be problematic. That's what I was trying to draw earlier. Then I started worrying about the coffee cup because they're overlapping. So this is the shirt, and then the jacket. Yes, as you can see, he's gesturing, making a point. And I've got those 24. What century we in? 21st century? 21st century. He's got a 22nd century tie on. I'll be honest, I'm not sure what his other arm is doing here. Where's it going? He had a tie clasp. I'll just kind of put it here. Some of this will be in black, as in these lines. Like this arm really is very outstretched somehow exactly. I'm not quite sure how. But it'll be in black, so those lines won't be out there for the world to see once it's in print. Okay. Do some of my funky perspective here. So we're kind of looking at him from the point of view that we're 3/4 view, mostly from the front. So we'll get the coffee shop menu in the back. Whoa, where did I just put that line? It's an invisible line. I know I was contacting something. Maybe it was the edge of the. Oh, yeah, let's see, how wide is a coffee shop? Let's do this. And sometimes I do not keep perspective exact because sometimes you don't want it to be exactly lined up with your lines here for interest. You'll put it off at an angle a little bit to kind of give a sense of motion or a sense of emotion. How does it make you feel for it to be off? So actually, I'm not going to make the sidewall there. Let's make some kind of counter over here. Nope. Yep. So the old trash bin. Yeah, where you put your garbage, you put your trays on top. In fact, maybe I'll just. A few trays. People have been busy. eating their food, drinking their coffee. And those trash bins have a little door underneath. Exciting stuff, right? Action adventure comic book happening at a coffee shop. Because I don't think our addiction for coffee is going to go anywhere soon. Okay. All right. In the last 4 minutes, I will start the last panel. And it is John again. He's going to have a slightly surprised look on his face because he just said something kind of important. Oops. Dang it. One of the drawbacks, I mean, not an excuse I can really use like I used to, because when you have a job and you do this part-time, you come back to it and you're like, where did I leave off? What was I doing? I can't remember what this guy looks like. Not exactly like that, but in this case, it's the eye. I'm not used to having him with like bruises and being all banged up, and so I've kind of forgotten that his eye is not exactly closed, but not exactly open either. I mean, it's not like some kind of like nasty gashed eye. Yes, that made a lot of sense, didn't it? Oops, you saw that, right? I keep little extra pieces of tape up on the key square for when I need them, and that one ran out of stickum. So that just slid right down my table. Oh, hang on. Can't forget the bag. I'm gonna kind of put the hair in here, and don't forget the fingers. And then his arm. All right. I hope you enjoyed today's broadcast. Hey, leave me comments. Tell me what you think about like that corporation putting that, for lack of a better phrase, injunction against Raising Cain. If anybody is, if any of you guys are artists who have had that same issue, yeah, definitely let me know if you've what you did about it, whether you could do anything about it. My lawyer thinks I would have a good case because there's not really anything that's similar between this corporation and me. But they're just flexing their muscles. They got lawyers. They got nothing better to do than to harass little guys. It's kind of a big year. Harass little guys, and because they know it's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars. They do. So let me know let me know what you think about that. I would be curious to find out. And I'm also going to be starting up Twitch pretty soon too, because believe it or not, I haven't done Twitch yet. And I should have been doing that before now, but since I have more free time, since I'm not working full time anymore, I'm going to be doing that too. I'm going to do another one of these specifically for my patrons. I think I'm going to actually, not 100% certain, but I think it's going to be Saturday. I'm going to try to arrange a coloring session where I'm going to color on the computer And so I need some software to download some software for that. I was thinking about just using good old screencast. They're not very expensive and they have pretty good quality video. So I might use that for capturing it for my live stream. And I'll get back to doing these for the general population every week because while things were happening for me, I haven't been consistent. Haven't been getting you guys my videos recently or live streams. All right. Thanks for stopping in. I appreciate it. Appreciate you all. And you guys have a great night. Okay. If you enjoyed it, leave me a comment, hit the like, subscribe. You know the stuff. Thanks. All right. You all take care. Bye.